Welcome back from the break, and you're watching the Homeowners Show. And as I said before, we are here to talk about everything concerning the building industry and the space. Well, for a nation whose housing deficit is probably in excess of about 2 million, a lot really has to be done to help provide shelter for the several thousands of workers and their families. And everyone, public sector, private sector, government, all have to have hands on deck to help really achieve this very important aspect of human lives. Well, today we are talking about something very interesting. I don't know whether you are aware of this, but we are talking about the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme. Now, this is a scheme ostensibly put together to help or aid public workers to acquire or own their own homes. Now, this has been in existence for quite some time, but today we really want to delve into this and see how best this can help the workers of Ghana really own their own homes, as this is a very, very important thing indeed in the lives of people. Now, to help me do that today is Dr. Richard Asante Yeboah, the Executive Secretary of the scheme, the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme, and it's going to help us, lead us in the discussion really on this particular subject and to find out how best this is helping the workers of Ghana. But before we do that, I just want to find out from you whether you know about the Build Up 2022 home construction event. Well, last year, First National Bank helped many Ghanaians to become homeowners through the Year of Home Ownership. That's the YOHO initiative. Now, this year, they are making it easier for you to build that property to your taste or complete the housing project you started. Through the Build Up 2022 initiative, everyone who applies for a home construction loan gets up to 1.5% discount on your interest rate. Now, don't miss out on Build Up 2022. Speak to First National Bank's experienced team of home loan consultants today to discover more help. And you can call them on 0242 435 050 or 0800-770-522 to get started. First National Bank, how can we help you? Now, are you a homeowner who requires financial assistance to meet other pressing needs? First National Bank can help you unlock the value in your business, fund your child's education abroad, or any other need. Speak to First National Bank's experienced team of home loan consultants today to discover more help. You can call them on the same numbers, 0242 435 050 or 0800-770-522 to get started. First National Bank, how can we help you? And I'm sure that you've heard about CBC Properties Limited. Now, why do you have to buy a piece of land now? Well, as Anthony Trollope put it, and I quote, because land provides the highest returns, the greatest values, the least risks, and of course, it is the only thing that cannot fly away. Now is the best time to own a land in Oyarifa, Pram Pram, East Legon Hills, Adenta, Amanfro, Shire Hills, Mensa, and so on. Call CBC Properties to schedule for a free site visit on 0303 935 313, 0303 935 313, and on 0262 898 686. And you can check out their website, www.cbcghanalimited.com. Follow CBC Properties on social media, and you can see them at CBC Ghana Limited on Facebook and Twitter, at CBC Ghana on IG, CBC Properties on YouTube. So you can get to them and find out everything that you want. But hey, we want to get started with our conversation this afternoon, and our guest, Dr. Richard Asante Yeboah, joins us here, the Executive Secretary of the Fund. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Michael.
And it's a great privilege to have you here.
I'm honored to be here to also discuss these very important issues.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, it's clear that housing is really a great thing, one of the greatest needs of man. I mean, apart from food, shelter is also one of the most important things. Now, we want to find out briefly, I mean, if you can outline the reasons why this scheme was put together or was funded and its core mandates. I mean, just so that viewers are in sync with what this whole thing is about.
Thank you very much. I think I would like to say good afternoon to your amazing viewers, particularly the people for whom I serve, the public servants of this country. And then, so when we talk about the public servant housing loan scheme, it's a state institution that has been mandated by our act that established the scheme to provide a certain assistance to public servants, i.e. making sure that they get access to funding to build their own homes. So we are looking at freshly built homes or houses. We are also mandated by our act to also give loans to public servants to enable them purchase or buy homes or houses. We are equally mandated to also give public servants money to enable them refurbish and already existing on acquired homes. And that last but not the least, to also give public servants who have gone to contract loans from other financial institutions for the purposes of building houses, give them loans to enable them pay back those loans. Because particularly looking at our interest rates and the kind of structures that we have, our interest rates coming in as a very mouth-watering 2.5% per annum, which you cannot get any institution in Ghana granting that. So that has been the kind of mandate that I've been given to the institution to do. Beyond what we do, we are equally mandated by our act to also try and put together a pool of building or estate developers or contractors who can build. So register contractors or individuals who are into the building industry, put them together and present them to these public and civil servants who come to us for loans, and those who are interested in wanting to partner or get the work being done by these estate developers. We can advise and also encourage. And whilst they sign on to our arrangement, we offer further supervision for these individuals. You can equally come for the loan and you think that you have access to somebody or contractor amazing that you think can help you do the project. You are not barred from doing that. But you see, most instances, you get the situation where people come back to you and tell you that I took the S amount of money. By the time I was done, the mason or the individual who was supposed to have built a house has built 3 bedrooms and I have only 1 bedroom because the monies do not go to where they are supposed to go to. So these are also some of the opportunities that they are to provide for us. We are provided funding by the government through government grants and also mandated by our act to go out there and look for other assistance or other financial arrangements in terms of donor support. So we're looking at donor support from donor agencies and other international organizations, and also other friendly nations that are interested in the kind of thing that we do. For instance, we are looking at building in a very environmental friendly manner and using local materials and making sure that at least the prices are very reasonable for the pocket of the public service or the public servants for whom we serve. So we try to put in mechanisms that would at every point in time beyond the interest rate being low, because obviously this has been interest rate we've been dealing with over the years. We are working towards amending our act, so various processes have been going through. But until such a time that our act is amended, where we are possibly looking at pushing the interest rate to a level where it can be very it will be easier for us to also go out there and source for funding from the capital market without necessarily chasing only grants, because sometimes it's very difficult to get some of these grants. So before that thing comes in, we'll continue to deal with the 2.5 as being mandated by our act that establishes us. What we have also added to our work to make the public service and the public servants who come to us to take loans or facilities to enable them build their houses enjoy extra cushion and also sort of provide them some cushion in their pocket is having some relationship with the providers and also the manufacturers of building materials in this country. There are a good number of them that have already signed up. More are coming in. And if you are into production of building materials or you are a major dealer in building materials and you're under the hearing of my voice, or you are viewing the television as we speak, or you're watching this program, we advise you can come to our offices. What we do is that because we have the numbers, we are looking about serving the needs of 1.6 million Ghanaians. So if we have these numbers backing our operations, these are people that we are supposed to deal with them, provide them the needed assistance. If you come to us, we sign an agreement that says that when people come for facility from our offices or come from loan from us, and they come to buy materials from you, you should be ready to give them between some percentage of this percentage discount. That is lower than what you're offering the market.
That's on the general market.
So that at least these people can enjoy extra. And a lot of companies have come on, including various formulations, some cement producers, electrical cable producers, and all of that. So there are a lot that are being done to equally situation our way of doing things to serve a good number of people.
Okay, great. I'm sure that we would have the opportunity to delve a bit more into that and some of these advantages as we go along. But this is really good information for us to start with. Now, let me read your vision. Okay, before I come to that, I wanted to touch a bit on your vision and the mission as a fund, as a scheme. Now, how active is the scheme as we speak? I mean, honestly, I hadn't heard of this fund for myself till probably like a few days ago. I didn't know that there was something like that really in the offering for public sector workers. And I'm asking this because I know that the scheme was established by an NRC decree as far back as I think 1975. Yeah, so it's been around for quite a long time. I haven't heard much about it, and I really want to know how active it is and how really it's been helping the public sector worker of today.
I would want to say that the scheme has been active and well over the years. But unfortunately, the activities of the scheme was not put for the public, for a good number of the public servants to know of it. But those who knew about it took advantage of it over the years and benefited from the scheme. But that, as I came in not long ago, about 2 months ago, as a new CEO for the establishment. So we have decided to place and position the scheme, assuming well, to be able to offer more help to a good number of the citizens. So I understand what happened in the previous years. We cannot really talk much about it, but it has been there. It was doing some, providing some level of assistance to people over the period. But what we are trying to do now is to look into the future. But that's the reason why His Excellency the President appointed me to come and see how we can turn things around and reposition this organization. Because the well-being of the Ghanaian, the public service, and the public servant for whom we are supposed to serve is very dear to the heart of the President. That is why I thought that we should come in and refocus and also do things extra to try and help with this vision of providing the public servants a good dwelling place in going into the future. So we are trying to do more. I mean, a lot has been done in the past, but we appreciate all those individuals who had opportunity of serving the scheme in those past years. But what we are trying to do now is to try and focus on the future and not so much dwelling some of the histories of the past, but to see how we can position the organization, provide a lot of relief to the people, deal with the very pertinent issues that confront the average public servant, and that has been housing. That has been housing. So we are working around the clock to do that. That is why I also spoke about even working towards amendment of our act, which we are working busily towards that to see that the act is amended to reflect the current economic and financial system that we have in our modern times.
Fantastic. I mean, clearly there's a lot to be done because from the looks of things, the fund has been dormant, so to speak, because I don't even think that there's even an existing website for the fund, or probably you're working on it. Social media handles,
I think as we speak, I think our website is almost done.
Okay.
And I think I can put it out there for the general public to be able to, and I think I sent it to your producer for them to also look at it. So our website, and what we've done within the last couple of days has been to, one, position the scheme in such a way that you need not to travel from perhaps the Brong-Ahafo or the northern part of the country or the Volta region, any part of the country, to come to Accra in the name of wanting to come and buy a form from our offices. So our website is literally done. I'll put the details out there for the general public for them to visit the site. You can buy the form from our website. Beyond buying the form from outside, we've also linking our activities within the last we've had various discussions with Ghana.gov to be able to link our payment systems through that. So you can buy the forms wherever you find yourself, even in the forgotten part of the country, and fill the form and forward it, and all what is needed will be done. And when it gets to the moment for you to sign up, you'll be invited to come through and do that. So over the period, we did not have But all these things have been addressed. So now we have a website which will be launched in due course. We have our social media handles that have also been created to deal with all this modern trend of trying to reach out to the general public. So those ones have also equally been created. Our first logo in our history has also been done within the last couple of days. So we see that a lot are being done, and we've seen a lot of interest in our sector. People approaching us. We are getting a lot of positive feedback from other institutions and other donor agencies in terms of the kind of thing that we are trying to do. We've reached out wide to people, including other institutions that are either government or quasi-governmental institutions, to equally come on board and see how we can partner and go and do other things.
Okay.
We've also been able to sort of reach out to other institutions that have similar mandates and so sign up some kind of MOU with them. We are looking at this week signing an MOU with Rural Housing, for instance, who has a very fantastic technology that could guarantee an average civil servant of building between 2 to 3 bedroom houses ranging between 100,000 to 150,000 Ghana cedis, which is quite an amazing technology. And I dare say that this technology has been used in building hotels and high-rise buildings, and it's fantastic.
These are things that could be replicated.
So these are things that we're trying to do, and also have some relationship and conversation with other international partners who are interested in bringing some additional technology that could help. So our arms are open. We are looking at how within the next couple of months we'll be able to scale up our operations and reach out to a good number of people. As we speak this week, a lot of things have been done in terms of approvals, giving people also. We are really active and we are working around the clock to make sure that at least we serve the interests of the Ghanaian and serve the purpose for which we were created by the country.
Fantastic. I'm sure we would have time to go into that a bit more, partnering other bodies to help in these things. Especially, I'm very interested in reducing the cost of production, cost of putting up these buildings, and how affordable it can be for the average worker. Now, let me read the vision of the fund. Now, to become the first option mortgage financing institution for all public servants in Ghana, and the mission is the board exists to assist public servants to construct new residential property, refurbish existing residential property, pay off loans on property already acquired, or purchase existing residential property through mortgage financing by reaching out to the public servants by employing and establishing good public relations and effective and efficient service delivery systems with them. Now, I must say that these are very noble ideals undergirding the establishment of the scheme, but I must say that these are very great ideas. But really, Doc, how practicable is the objective of this whole fund? I mean, considering that the average cost of, say, a 2 to 3 bedroom or units in the country in relation to the average salary or salary range of the public servant. I mean, mind you, the estimated price range of each, let's say, existing unit of State Housing Corporation as of, I think, about 2020 was between like $25,000 and $80,000. I mean, I stand to be corrected here. So, I mean, and you're looking at the current exchange rate and all that. So against the backdrop of the eligibility criteria, which is basically only that of being a Ghanaian and a permanent employee of a company, I mean, or a public institution, how really practicable is this? I mean, noble ideas, noble ideals, but considering the cost of these units, so to speak, and then the existing salary range and all that, does it really work?
Thank you very much. I think before I answer your question, I just would like to put up the website so that at least our team, the general public, can also visit, though we are not entirely done with some of the things that and configurations that we are supposed to do on that. So you can go to www.pshsb.gov.gh/website. Just do that because it's for the time being. It is not live yet, so you can look at that. So I'm saying it again, www.publicpshsb.gov.gh/website. I think I understand and appreciate your concern in terms of looking at the salary levels vis-a-vis the exchange rates and other things that culminate into the computation of the pricing of a house or any property. And I dare say I agree with you, those difficulties. But under the circumstances, I think that what we offer to the general public is 10 times or 100 times better than what possibly you can get from a regular commercial bank, which you all understand. Because if they are doing the rates, no matter whatever rate they are doing as we speak, until the amendment of our act comes into fruition, and until those numbers are reviewed, because we are looking at pushing it between 8 to 10% based on to afford us the opportunity to be able to go out there and source for some funding so that we'll be able to spread it wide and get to a lot of people. We are still doing 2.5%, which is obviously cheap and which is very good for the pocket of the public
relatively
compared to what is on the market. But I agree that, I mean, with time, I know that, I mean, these things work, and there have been various decisions by various governments to try and see how salaries of workers can be adjusted to meet the current trends of economic movement and changes. We realized that just recently, government had some discussions with the fair wages and also all the labor unions to try and push what we call COLA into the frame of things so that people will receive some level of respite from the government in terms of that. I mean, you would want to say that there will not be any point in our history that the work of a civil servant or even your good self sitting here will perhaps commensurate with whatever amount that you are receiving. Those are some of the difficult things that you can. But you see, government in general sometimes provide additional support that hitherto, if those things are not there, or even if those things are not there, and government increase your salary to whatever level, you will still feel the pinch. Because for instance, if I'm a parent and my child is to go to school, and I'm going to pay, say, 4,000 to 5,000 a term or a semester for my world school fees, and those things are being borne by government as we speak. No matter the salary adjustment, I think there's a big relief for me, a big relief for my pocket. So there are other things that government will continuously do to sort of provide some level of support to the people. But I will not sit here and pretend that the salaries of the civil servants or public servants in the country, if there's an opportunity looking at the national kitty to add on, they will not be happy. Obviously, they will be happy. But government look at all those vis-a-vis the mirage of issues and challenges that are in the basket for which the government need to deal with. Because whilst government is dealing with the salaries, government is obviously looking at other aspects and other sectors of the economy, creating additional employment space for people who are coming out of school, putting money in education, putting money in health, putting money in all the agriculture and all the sectors of the economy. So they are literally challenges here and there. But I think that as we continue to swim together and grow together as a nation, a moment in time will come in history where, I mean, we all will be better off. But for now, let's make do with whatever has been placed before us. And as individuals who have equally been given additional mandate to serve the people. For me, I would say I'm a chief servant of the public servants, to try and see that in terms of the accommodation and needs, myself and the team that I work with, I have extremely helpful, very supportive team at the Public Servant Housing Loan Scheme Board. And then also the support that we continue to receive from our Minister, Honorable Asensio Boakye, and the support we also receive from all the other agencies and also the Finance Ministry. I do believe that in the coming years and days, I heard a lot of good news and stories to be told of the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme, where we are working around the clock to see how we can try and reach out to the good people of the country. There are funds available. We are already giving funds every time, every now and then. Loans are being granted to people. People are being advised to visit our site. When you visit, those forms are available. You can purchase the forms. You need to buy 2 forms when you go to our site. You are looking at the loan application form, which is 20 cedis, and the mortgage form. These 2 ought to be bought at the same time, which is also 50 cedis. Once you buy them, you fill them, the relevant documentations, you add them, and come to our offices, and we would address all these concerns and help you with loans.
Okay. One question. Very soon, I mean, I'll be there. I see some questions coming through from the listening public, so I'm sure they have quite a number of questions for you. We'll open our phone lines to a bit early today, so if you have your questions, line them up, or you can send them via text message, and we'll forward them to Doc as much as possible so he answers those questions. But is the public servant guaranteed any, should I say, cover or protection against for example, the fluttering or the plummeting fortunes of the cedi and the volatile nature of the currency, as most of these units are indexed in dollar indexed, I mean, for them, so that things don't become a bit more difficult as they try to pay off these loans?
Because our funds loans are not given in dollar index, so obviously they have no worrying about the interest rate of our loans, because with the cedi index, we give them in cedis. So you have no reason to be worried about. I understand the other component, which perhaps we cannot control, will be the escalation in the prices of goods and services on the market, particularly building materials, which is literally across the country and across the globe. It's a global thing. I mean, we've had conversation with other agencies like our type in Rwanda, in Kenya, in China, in Germany, and other countries, where we are trying to see whether we can bring in a cheaper technology to build for our people. And we've done a lot of consultative work, a lot of presentations have been done every now and then by companies that come before us. Like I said, even our very own rural housing, I've come out with a very beautiful arrangement, and we are signing an MOU this week. And all this will be made known to the public, where you can build a very lovely house with raw material from the country, very cheap, environmentally friendly, and all these things have been done. So for me, I do believe that we can be worried about the exchange rate, but as a people, if we continue to use what is being produced in the country, then we will not continuously be here worrying and crying about the cost of the rate at which the dollar is perhaps misbehaving, or the relationship between the dollar and the cedi, as and when things become sour between that relationship. We will not be too much worried about, because we can equally help in that regard. If the construction sector, if the real estate sector focuses on using materials that are being produced in this country, I mean, we will be better for it, because then we will not be too much worried about that. Because I tell you, there are amazing companies in this country that are producing tiles, electric cables, they are producing plumbing stuff,
yeah.
They are producing roofing sheets, they are producing cement. So literally everything that you need to build a house in this country, there are companies A or B or C that are producing these materials. That is why we as public state institution have decided to partner with these producers, that you know what, we are guaranteeing you the market. We are looking at people within the ranges of 1.6 million people. Those are the individuals that we are supposed to deal with, and they belong to the teachers, their doctors, their nurses, their what do you call it, other civil servants from CLOSAG, other kinds of associations. Some of them are for judicial service, all over. Various institutions, from teachers, all of them are part of our association, and all of them can come to us and ask for or seek for funding, apply to get some funds from our staples and go and do their housing. We are equally inviting on board other state institutions that do have some funds available that they are looking at trying to take care of their staff to come to us. We will design a model so that we can partner and see how we can equally add on to whatever fund they have to support their staff. So those are some of the things that we are trying to do, trying to change the face of the institution, trying to position the institution in such a way that we'll be able to deal with the very reason for which the institution was established. And I think that within the last 2 months, this has been the thing that we've been doing to try to get out and also support a lot of people. And I believe that, I'm extremely hopeful that with the support of His Excellency the President and the indication that has been given by the government in terms of government efforts in wanting to sort of support the public servants. And I know that it's not only the public servant that the government cares about. The government is also reaching out to other members of the society through state housing. They've been very vibrant, and you can see the activities of my brother and the team at the state housing in terms of what they are providing for the people, building across the country.
Doc, I need to come back to you for us to delve a bit more into what you're saying. I'm very glad when you talked about probably the possibility of replicating other models in other countries. You mentioned Rwanda, for example, and the fact that you are teaming up with companies that are producing local materials, because it's clear that the cost the hiking price of some of these units is clearly, or majority, is based on the materials, the cost of materials. But we're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, we delve into some of these things. You are watching the Homeowners Show right here live on Metro TV, and we've been talking to Dr. Richard Asante Yeboah, the Executive Secretary of the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme. The Homeowners Show is proudly sponsored by the First National Bank Ghana and supported by CBC Properties. We're going for a very quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break, and if you just joined us, well, you are watching the Homeowners Show, and we've been talking to Dr. Richard Asante Yeboah, the Executive Secretary of the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme, and we're talking about how best the public sector workers can be helped to acquire or own their own homes. And we want to continue the conversation, but just before we do that, Majul Enterprise is the pioneer in innovative building and construction materials with over 20 years of experience in Ghana. We supply notable brands like ERA, George Fisher, Hakan Plastics, Pearson, Ferret Plastic, EMS Force, Interplast, Bosch Power Tools, Leopoms, and many more. Majul is also the sole distributor of cast products in Ghana. Call Majul Enterprise for all your hardware supplies on 0207 672 965 or 0540 573 421. On social media at Majul Enterprise, and you can locate Majul at Spintex, Ecobank, Adogono Road, opposite the Shell station. Majul Enterprise, if it's not quality, it's not Majul. Well, Sub-Saharan fashion brand, and they produce the best. Obviously, you can tell from what I'm wearing. Great shirts are worn by great men with integrity. That's the philosophy behind the Sub-Saharan fashion brand. At Sub-Saharan Fashion, our choice of fabric is inspired by our culture and heritage. The temperament of our clients contribute to the choice of fabric and colors to use. At the end, we create an art piece which is custom made for one person only. If you want to patronize the brand reserved for men with integrity, call or WhatsApp Sami on 0264017512 for your orders. On social media, you can find them at Sub-Saharan Fashion. So get the very best of shirts and make a fashion statement with Sub-Saharan Fashion brand. All right, so Doc, I mean, I was glad just before we went, you were talking about the possibility of teaming up with local companies that produce materials. And we, on the screen, we have the website that you talked about earlier. And I believe that those who are interested, want to find out a bit more, can log on and then find out and go and find out what they want there. So, companies, you'll be teaming up with companies who would be able to produce local materials that will help reduce the cost, because a lot of the price really is triggered by the importation of materials from out there. So it will be good, probably it's a good time for us to replicate other models from other countries like Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, like you said. I mean, there are issues about probably innovative means, apart from materials. You're looking at plot sizes, you're looking at, say, types of materials like you mentioned, and also minimizing cost recovery requirements and things like that. So I think probably it's a good time to do that to help bring down, shave down so much more for the average worker out there.
I think I'm happy about what is being done now, and I think we continue to do more in that regard, because our focus is to try and help the civil servants be able to build the houses or buy them at a reasonable prices that will be very good for their pocket, and then that will encourage a good number of them to wanting to do that, because what it is that we've seen over the years has been that people are deterred into going into construction and in going into building their own houses because of the fact that they fear that whatever they inject into it, they will not be able to see to the end of it, and making sure that the project comes into fruition where they can have a place to go and live. So they continue to put their monies into rentals and continue to rent and from whatever time they enter into employment, so even sometimes to the time they go on pension. But we are trying to fashion out and model something that could help address this. Because that is why if you're an estate developer and you have some good stuff, you can come to us. We will negotiate on behalf of our people. We negotiate. Sometimes we come in and we look at what you have, the properties that we have. We negotiate, try and match and look at institutional agencies, that individuals that are interested in whatever you have. Then based on that, we can do the payment for them. But we will make sure that at least we get them to have value for money. There are a good number of them who have over the years lost their money because they went to buy land and they ended up that the land they bought, it was registered in about 4 people in names, or it had been sold to about 4 or 5 people, and they end up losing their monies. So what we also do in certain instances is that if people have lands and they come to our folks, because based on the other establishes and the individuals, the entities that we partner, and those institutional representation on our board, because we are the only institution that you see that almost practically every institution that matters in this country finds itself on our board. You are looking at the president's rep, you are looking at the finance ministry rep, controller accountant general rep, lands commission rep, you are looking at the lands ministry rep, AESL rep, so the Ministry of Western Housing rep, all of them. So if we need to do any search on issues about land to confirm the authenticity of a land, our people within the Lands Commission, the Lands Ministry, will be able to assist us in doing that. So we try to make sure that these things are done properly for people. So there are a lot of things that we are trying to do to help give some relief, cut and remove certain challenges that confront our people. And when I talk about our people, I'm referring to the public servants.
Sure.
So that is what we continue to do in terms of trying to help these people. Beyond that, beyond the registration of contractors and other things that I spoke about, we also try to offer another thing to guarantee our funds. So when you take a loan from us, we make sure that the loans are secured. Apart from the fact that we mortgage the property with your name and the institution, we equally make sure that insurance are placed on that. You insure that, so that against permanent disability and also death. So in the event that the individual passes on, you have the insurance company coming in to settle that. So we do that. So all the individuals who have come for loan from us and those that we've worked on, particularly this week, that Monday and Tuesday, they are picking their funds. All these people have to go through these processes.
To make sure that you recover your money, which is very important.
Yes, and another thing that we do.
But maybe just before you go on, I mean, all these are very interesting ideals, very interesting plans and all that. But you agree with me that a lot of these things cannot happen without money funding. Now we'll go back to initially when we started the program, we talked about funding and how you're funded and all that. How is the scheme funded? I mean, a bird whispered into my ear not too long ago that the fund was broke and couldn't even afford to give the loans. I mean, the reason why this scheme was set up was not...
I'm not sure it's ever been true. It's never true.
Well, I have seen some reports online where some years ago where
I can't speak to those areas. I don't want to go into, as I told you, that the era before me, I cannot speak much about those areas.
Yeah, so
but I'm saying that as we speak, the fund is not broke.
As we speak?
The fund is not broke.
Okay, so...
Because what it is the reason why we are not broke and we cannot be broke is that we, beyond government giving us grants, and beyond we also being mandated to go and look for grant and external support and also other funds, financing from other institutions and other friendly nations. We remember we have a revolving fund. Every month, repayments are happening. People that we're giving them loans, their repayments are ongoing every month. Okay. So there's no point in time that you would say that the fund will not have money in its kitty. So we are not broke and we cannot be broke. The only thing is that we need more funds. We need more assistance. We need more support from the donor organization, other institutions that would want to come in and partner with us. But we are never broke and we can't be broke.
Okay. I mean, that is good for me
because,
to hear.
Like
because it's quite reassuring. Because
I'm telling
you, I heard that it was broke and couldn't provide the loans. I mean, the reason why this scheme was set up was defeated.
The bed that respect, maybe those areas were not there. I cannot speak to those areas. Okay. But as I speak, the scheme is alive and well, and we are kicking, we are working around the clock to try and, because you see, That's
Doc,
why.
let me just quickly announce the phone lines. I'm sure that viewers will want to be sending some questions for you to answer. I don't want to do it all alone here, so I'm sure they have some interesting questions. But so the phone lines are open. You can ask your questions through 055 300 0035, 055 300 0035. You can call in and then make your questions clear. But we have some questions here before I ask my few concluding questions. There's one person he says, please, I'm a staff at Ghana Free Zones Authority. Am I qualified for the home loans? My name is Abu.
So the institutions like that they pay themselves because they're able to generate enough IGF. And most of these government institutions, quasi-government institutions, we've reached out to some of these institutions to partner. So that some of them do have funding of their own. So what we do is that you come on board with some small funding and we add some to it and give it to your staff. So whatever funds that you come on board with us, we're able to raise additional and add up and support your staff with that.
Fantastic. So, there's another viewer who says, my name is Kafui. And he says, if the state is really committed, then what are they doing about the Sagleme and other stalled public estate projects lying waste? Always we are going to do this and do that, but
something
no
is
show.
happening on Sagleme.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the ministry is working on that, and I'm sure that pretty soon you see these houses. I think already, see that being placed in the hands of the military or something. So I think they are working. I think there are a lot of activities. Even this week, the state housing provided over 40 houses that the minister went and handed over to the owners.
Hold on one second, Doc. I think we have a caller on the line. I think from Obuasi. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, may I know your name, please?
Please, my name is Daniel Amwaku.
Fantastic. So you can go ahead and ask your question. Doc is here.
Yeah, my question is, as an average civil servant with a salary little above 2,000. Now, my question is, I checked on some flyers some weeks ago, and the price was quoted in dollars. So I'm wondering, an average civil servant like me can afford a home price in dollars. Why my salary is not even up to 3,000? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I mean, this is something that a lot of people are very worried about. Somebody sent in a question earlier saying that, good afternoon, Roy is my name from Amasaman. Please find out from Doc why housing loans or mortgages are quoted in dollars and dollar rates won't decrease but always increasing. Can't they price houses in CDs, especially state housing corporation buildings, which is owned by government? Too much talk doesn't solve the problem well. So it's going on and on. So this dollarization system is something that really bothers people.
We get a challenge with the pricing of mortgages in dollars and all of that. And I think that as we go on, all these things are being looked at. We do believe that, particularly when we are giving our loans in cities, we would want to find a way of getting these entities that sell these houses to equally look at that and factor all those questions. But the challenge has been that when a product is priced in cities, and then within the next couple of days, and the amount that you use in doing that, you are not able to. But we get the sense from the general public, and we are forcing also having discussion with some of these estate developers who build houses and sometimes come to us that there are doctors here, there are nurses here, there are immigration officers here, fire service personnel. All of these are part of our establishment. Anybody who is paid by controller is part, and others who are not even paid by controller are equally part of us.
Okay.
So for us, it doesn't matter the amount you take. But individual, what you actually qualify under the Act is that you are qualified for 10 times your annual gross. So if you are taking 22,000 in a month, you multiply by 12, whatever you get, multiply by 10. That's how much you qualify for. But the challenge here, and sometimes I usually say, is that a good number of our patrons or would-be patrons who are public servants, sometimes have contracted or gone to sign on to all kinds of loans, maybe a loan for rice cooker, a loan for some hair dryers, all kinds of stuff. So at the end of the day, the affordability component of it becomes an issue. It means that there's little that is available to service the loan.
Okay.
And what it is, and when there's little, you get little pay.
Okay, hold your thoughts on that. Sorry, I have to break in, but there's a caller. I think it's David Chum, right? David is on the line.
Yes.
Yes,
David
yes.
is on the line.
Go ahead, David. You can ask your question. Doc is here.
Please, I'm very happy to hear such a plan with the government. Please, where can we locate them?
You mean their offices, right?
In their offices, yes, because some of us, they have to give us this long-term plans to maybe meet their requirements, because the salaries we earn, I am a teacher with a sub 2, less than 2,500 cedis. So you see, they have to give us these long-term loans so that we can also afford such plans that they have put in place.
Okay.
So if they can please tell us some of their offices so that we come there and then give them what we have, and then they also are just to help us to
All right.
to get our dreams at least.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
be glad with that.
Thank you very much, David.
And let me give a very good news to my brother.
Okay.
I think beyond those who want to buy, some want to buy outright. A good number of the people also want to build. What you need to understand is that you can come for whatever you qualify for now and start building, and the repayment will kick in. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay the entire amount before you come for top up our additional loan. You can come back for additional loan. We'll come and inspect what you've got into. We have a very strong monitoring team. We'll come to your side no matter where you find yourself in Ghana. And the loan is not available for people in Accra alone or the big cities. Even if you're in my hometown, Brekum, or some part of Bronha, or Bremene Sukuma in the central region, or Mampon, or Salalugu, or wherever you find yourself, you are a Ghanaian and you're a public servant. You're entitled to this. You must not necessarily, because sometimes somebody has started building, you can equally come for money to complete it. You don't need to say, oh, you have to sign up with us and start. You started, you're about to finish. You can come. We'll give you the loans. We don't want people to also spend so much traveling across the country to come and buy a form for 20 cedis and 50 cedis. That is why these forms are made available at our website.
The website.
You can buy them from
So
our
they need
website
to
and
come
start
physically
filling.
to the office.
Yeah, so when you start filling and you are done with all of that and your documentations are ready, then you can pass it on to us. We did assessment, then you come through.
Okay.
That is what it is.
All right. 1 second. Francis from Medina, I believe is on the line. Francis?
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
Yes, good afternoon, Francis. You can ask a question.
Yeah, it's not about question, right? It's about the whole discussion is about the gentleman before you, right?
Yes,
Putting
please go
policy
ahead.
yes, the gentleman before you. For some of us to believe what he's saying, he's a member of NDP, he's a communication member. That man is one of the scammers in NDP. He's a liar.
Oh, no, I don't think that's a fair thing to say. I mean, you can't just say that. But let's continue with our conversation here.
I think, let me just touch a bit on this. Let's understand this. We have a country to build. This is not party matter, whether I'm PP or NDC. When you come and you apply, nobody asks for your political colors before these assessments are done. Once you are qualified, you're a public servant and you're entitled, nobody goes to look for which political party you belong to and all of that. And I will tell you that there are a good number of people who have benefited from that. Our focus is the Ghanaian and the public servant. So anybody who's worried that somebody is MPP or somebody, there will not be a time that government will be in place and individuals who will be heading various institutions will not be coming from one political party or the other. We need to then come and grow out of that sensation and the thinking that once somebody is appointed by an MPP government, then the focus will be, let me tell you, I don't think all my family members are MPP people. They understand that.
Yeah.
There are some who will be NDC. It doesn't matter where you belong. What the president has mandated us to do is to address the concerns and the challenges of the public servants, not to look at political colors.
Okay, fantastic. We have just a few minutes before we wrap up, but time now to do our tidbits for today, and I'm sure that you've been looking forward to this so far, and I'm sure that you've enjoyed the program so far. Well, you have the home loan application process, and the first step is for the borrower to submit a completed application form. Submit a completed application form with the requisite documents as listed on our website. Next, the First National Bank will issue a letter of intent, LOI, within 72 hours after receipt of application. And then the borrower accepts to proceed by signing and returning the LOI back to the First National Bank. So this is a very important process for you to follow. Now, this paperwork is then processed and either accepted or declined. If accepted, the facility letter is issued to the borrower. Borrower accepts terms and conditions by signing and returning the facility letter to First National Bank and pays closing costs. Next, borrower fulfills all pre-disbursement conditions, including insurance, and then the loan process is closed and disbursed. It's as simple as that. And I'm pleased to tell you that this segment, the Tidbit segment, is brought to you by kind courtesy of First National Bank, Ghana. So it's very clear. You can follow it and you can get all the information you want and have all kinds of processes really go through. Well, Doc, it's unfortunate we've run out of time here. Quite a number of questions also popping up, but unfortunately, viewers, we cannot ask Doc all those questions. So I'm sure that there probably might be some helpline or probably some email address that people can send their questions to. But I'll be glad for you to give your closing remarks and for us to assure, people out there that, look, this is something that is here to stay and to help people who are really in that bracket.
I think let's understand this. This institution has been in place from 1975. They've been government over the years. Like you said, a good number of people would testify to the fact that they knew little about the establishment of this institution or the existence of it. It's the President of the Republic, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who asked that this should receive special attention so that we can now position this very well and try and address the many concerns confronting the ordinary public servants. Our focus is the public servants. So what it is that we are doing has no political color. What we try to do is to provide housing for people. And that is the most important thing. That we told you, I said earlier on, our focus is to provide housing for money for people to build, for them to buy houses, to pay for an existing mortgage that they've secured. We don't pay for loan you went for to go and buy a car or anything, but mortgage, a loan for housing, or give you money for you to refurbish your house. That is our mandate. We do that because we have been mandated by law to do it. And we are going to find every possible means to collaborate with whoever it is. We don't care about your political affiliation. If there's an institution that is ready to support our activities, provide with grants, provide with some additional support. If you're a building contractor, you want to partner with us, we don't have an issue with that. If you're a producer of building material, we don't care about your political affiliation. So long as you're in Ghana, and we do believe that at the end of the day, Ghana would gain from our partnership. We are looking at all the concepts. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll start a serious housing arrangement across the country. And our effort is to reach out to people across the country. No matter your salary, so long as you qualify, there will be something for you. So let's bear in mind. Let's remember that we only commit between 30% to 35% or 40% of your salary into the servicing of the facility. You can also come for top-up when you have started working on that.
All right, Doc. Thank you very much and for the information given out there. But I'm sure that there's a lot more that people might want to find out. So the website is available, as you stated, out there. And I'm sure that they would want to send you some more questions and some more requests. Well, we'll be speaking to Dr. Richard Asante about the Executive Secretary of the Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme. And we'll be talking about how best to assist the public worker of Ghana to acquire or own his own home. Well, it's been the Home Owner Show. My name is Michael Katahena. I've enjoyed being on the show here for the past 1 hour. And we hope that you're going to join us again next Sunday. We hope that your questions have been answered. Join us again next time on Sunday.